I'm going to demonstrate how to use the MirageID Secure Web Browser to browse the internet while protecting your accounts. After you've completed installing MirageID, you'll see a MirageID icon on your desktop. Double-click the MirageID icon and it will launch a MirageID login window. If you have not yet created an account with us, you can click the Sign Up button and it will open a separate web browser window to our website sign-up page. Enter your information and your company information and you're good to go. Once you've launched the MirageID browser and you have a MirageID account, you can enter your login name and password and click Login. The first window you'll see is the Identity window. In this case, it's empty, since you've not yet created any identities. Once you create identities, they will be listed in here. You can click Create Identity to create your first identity. You can name the identity. We will go with Electronics. You have a few options here for type. Standard and Flash. Most people will want Standard. Flash is for people who need a lot of very temporary identities for short periods of time. Most people want an identity that keeps the same fingerprint information every time it's used. This builds an online reputation for that identity. That is the standard identity. Choose your location. There are a few different locations to choose from. We'll choose New York. You can choose whether this identity syncs cookies or not. If the identity will be used on more than one computer, you would want to turn sync cookies on, as this syncs two-factor authentication and other similar activity. Click Create. It will take about 60 seconds for the browser to create a new identity. Once the identity has been created, you'll see a few different buttons here. Let's click the Open button. This will open the browser window with a new identity. You can tell which identity you're in by looking at the little identity label on the top here. You can now browse as you normally would. You can go to any website you want. You can use multiple tabs. You can go to different websites. And every one of these websites and every one of these tabs is all done under this electronics identity. If you click on the identity list, you'll see a list of all your identities. This list will also show you what IP address is associated with each identity. In addition to fingerprint protection, we also provide IP address protection. You can confirm this by searching "What is my IP?" and you'll see that your IP address and the IP address that Google sees match. That is different than the IP address of the computer itself. Now let's create a second identity. We're going to use the same settings as we did the first time, and we'll let that spin up. You can see that now we have two identities in our list. You can open that new identity, which will open in a new window. This new window is a completely separate identity than the window of the other identity. You can open whatever websites you want in this identity. The traffic to these websites from this identity are completely isolated from the traffic in the other identity. That includes all cookies and all IP address information. All fingerprint information is different. Let's check "What is my IP address?" again. You can see that the IP address here is different than the IP address on the other window. And you can see the IP address matches what MirageID says the IP address is for this identity.